Hello and welcome to another episode of Leaders of Transformation. Today we're going to talk with Christine Comaford, who is a neuroscience-based executive coach. She's a CEO, she's a New York Times best-selling author, and she's an expert on understanding the brain in the context of collaboration and culture and creating collaboration with others. She works with high-level leaders to help them embrace their emotions and connect to their purpose and tap into their intuition. All very, very important skills, especially right now. Hello. There's a lot of craziness going on. So Christine, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're addressing this topic. So yeah, welcome to the Leaders of Transformation.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. It's awesome to be here. So yeah, what I've noticed, so I've been building my own businesses. I've built and sold 5 of my own businesses. We're taking them public in the areas of technology, financial services, professional services. So as someone who's actually been in the trenches, dodging grenades, hiring people, having to let them go, doing layoffs, a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, one of the most important things that we do as leaders is navigate the emotions, our emotions and the emotions of our people. And so
how do we do that?
Yeah, what's
question.
So interesting, and I'm going to show you an image in just a second. Actually, you know what? Let me show it now, and then everybody can start to process this while you and I chat for a sec. So look at this emotion wheel, everybody, and start to notice how great we are at thinking. In the Western world, if you will, we are fantastic about using our intellect. We are not so strong at dropping into how we are feeling. Here's the thing. Our behaviors come from how we're feeling. So we can't understand why we do what we do, what gets us stuck, if we don't actually first say, whoa, stop the train. How am I feeling? So everybody take a sec right now. And if you can see the emotion wheel, great. We're also going to have it on the show page. You'll notice in the middle, we have 6 primary emotions: sad, mad, scared, peaceful, powerful, joyful. And then we have sort of the sub-emotions that span off. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I work all over the world, recently I have been, in the past 6 months, I've been in 12 different countries, just to give you an example. And what I found before COVID really kicked in, I think we've got a slightly different thing going on right now, is that people would say the primary emotion would be overwhelmed. So if you look on the wheel, look to the far upper right at the horizon, right? Just there's worried and then there's overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is a type of being anxious. Anxious is an emotion that is fear-based. So we start to understand, wow, be wherever you are on the wheel. Let's be honest about it. And then instead of resisting it, wow, I don't want to feel scared. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I don't want to feel frustrated, irritated, whatever. We say, wow, whoo, okay, let me just feel this for a sec. Okay, here I am feeling whatever. And if it's something unpleasant, something in the upper half, something that's causing you pain, please take a moment and notice the story that you're telling yourself about that. Well, I've got way too much to do and not enough resources. There's this tremendous uncertainty. How long are we going to be in shelter in place? How much further is the economy going to drop? Whatever. Notice the story, and then, is it okay if we dive into a tool for people?
Yeah, go for it. We're in it. Let's do it, Christine.
Let's do it, brothers and sisters. Okay, great. Then what we're going to do.
And for those people that are listening on audio only, I would encourage you to go to leadersoftransformation.com. You can type in Christine, and this episode will come up so you can get to the episode show notes so that you can follow along with us, because we're going to have these images in those show notes for you.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Oh, and I want to mention something right now, which is we have created an 8-week emotional resilience mini course. You can go to our site, SmartTribesInstitute.com, SmartTribesInstitute.com/emotion, and sign up. And every week you'll get a different tool like the ones that you're going to see today, and a little paragraph as to how to use it Forward that to your team so everybody every week is learning another emotional resilience tool, because you guys, we really need emotional resilience right now. We need to be able to have tools to choose our state. So let's say that you were at the top half of the emotion wheel. You were in mad, sad, or scared, or one of the subsections. Maneuvers of consciousness is a neuro-linguistic tool, and what's great about this is it helps you seriously change your state in 12 minutes. It is awesome. I just did it. I was just in Australia in early March before everything got totally crazy. With a bunch of organizations. I had 150 people in the room. They were doing maneuvers of consciousness at the same time. So it was nuts. Yeah, we had buddy pods of 75, right? 150 people. And people were shifting their state, recovering from the wildfires, drought, floods, and then of course COVID. And here's how it works. You need to have your timer. Ideally, have a buddy do it with you. I get that we're shelter in place. Have somebody on FaceTime or Zoom or whatever, or even just on the phone. They're going to time you. You need to go in. Don't chicken out, please. Go all the way in. This is how the magic occurs. So say that figure out what you're resisting. I'm resisting this COVID situation. I'm resisting layoffs. I'm resisting whatever. Step number 1, 3 minutes. Your buddy sets the timer. All your buddy does is hold space, and then if you stop talking, they say, come on, 1 more minute to go. Say out loud all the things that you don't like about this. This is bad because this. This is causing me pain because this. This is unfair because this. Let it rip. The negative evaluation phase is where the magic begins. You have to purge all that stuff. Emotions have to move through your body, or you squish them down and you get a bunch of stress or you get sick. We don't want that. So negative evaluation, 3 minutes. Ding, ding, the timer's up. You just saw the emotion wheel. Grab your emotion wheel and tell your buddy how you're feeling so they can write it down. I'm feeling mad. I'm feeling defensive. I'm feeling whatever. Write it all down. Then you need to do a break state because emotions do have energy. We have 3 very reputable doctors that have measured this. Shake your body out. Okay, let that energy go, just like you see dogs do and ducks do. And now the next step, curiosity. This is where we start to witness the situation that we are resisting. Now we start to look at it. Well, I wonder how this came to be. I wonder why I'm so resistant about it. Would I be resisting this a year from now? If I had this other stance, would I be resisting it? And we start to kind of look at this thing, step out and look at this thing that we've been resisting and get really curious about it. So we get really interested and start asking a lot of questions about it. Do that for 3 minutes. Then again, look at your emotion wheel. How am I feeling now? Shake your body out. Step 3, amazement. Now we're going to be absolutely fascinated by this. Wow, it's absolutely fascinating that I've been resisting this thing that I couldn't even control. It's absolutely fascinating that I've let this cause me so much stress when actually that was totally unnecessary. Be amazed for 3 minutes, and your buddy, again, is going to egg you on in case you stop. After 3 minutes, look at your emotion wheel. You'll start to notice that the magic is happening. Now you're starting to move to the bottom of the emotion wheel, those more grounded emotions, those more stable emotions, and the peaceful, powerful, joyful pie slices, if you will. Shake your body out. And now, step 4, you're going to go into full appreciation. Wow. Isn't it awesome that I'm having this experience? Isn't it awesome that I was resisting this experience that's actually helped me to grow in these particular ways? Like a lot of people are finding that the COVID experience is helping them to create their own exercise regime, to get to know their body better, to have more quiet time alone, to change their diet, to purge their house, etc. Look at what a gift this has been. Then look at emotion wheel again, shake your body out, and notice in 12 minutes, you have profoundly shifted your state. Whoa, we have maneuvered your consciousness. So what's cool is you can use this in a group. You can use the emotion wheel in a group. A lot of our clients now are starting their meetings by having everybody say how they're feeling. Then whoever's leading the meeting has a read of the room. If the majority of people say super stressed out, the first thing we're going to talk about is, hey, everybody, let's share what's causing us so much stress. Okay, so it really helps us read the room, but also that at the end of the meeting, okay, how's everybody feeling? And now we can say, did we come together? Did this meeting work? Okay, maneuvers, again, if you're going to do this, it's great to do it in little buddy pods if you're going to do it in a group situation because it goes a little bit faster. Okay. Good. So we did maneuvers. We're in a more interesting state. And now let's look at where to go from here. Maneuvers, you feel really good, but I want you to actually ground that and take it to the next level. Otherwise, it can be a little bit of a sugar high. So after maneuvers, then we go into the tool that we call the outcome frame. This is where we create in neuro-linguistics, neuroscience, what we call our desired state. So right now in our present state, we're here, but we want to be there. Okay, great. What is that? When you do the outcome frame, you want to do it for 15 minutes. Again, you're going to do it with a buddy. The buddy's going to ask the questions so that you can go all the way in. The buddy's going to take the notes so that you have that desired state to save for the future. So it's a series of questions. It's a series of questions that help you forge this desired state and that are designed to cause your brain to fire visual, auditory, kinesthetic cues so that you actually step in to that future version of you and test drive it. Let's go. Question number 1, what would you like? This is a positive outcome that you can create and maintain. I would like to be peaceful inside regardless of what's happening outside, etc. Here's an example. I would like more strategic time. Okay, good. Question number 2, what will having that do for you? Benefits. How you're going to feel. Will I feel more engaged and energized? Like I'm really making a difference to the team. I will help everybody else be more calm inside. I'll feel like I am, I'll feel proud and peaceful and powerful. We'll probably get better results. I'll probably work fewer hours. I'll probably be more focused. So we want to make sure we get really present to the benefits. Number 3, how will you know when you have that outcome that you want? What's the proof? Okay, so I want more strategic time. How am I going to know when I have it? Something tangible. When I spend 2 hours or more on each week on strategy or visioning. Good, good. When I cut the number of meetings I attend by 25%. Good. When my direct reports are at leadership level 5 or more. Great. I want to stress you can do the outcome frame in a group before you launch a project, mid-project. You can use it in sales scenarios. The outcome frame is a very versatile tool. You'll use it at home. Our clients use all the tools we're talking about today at home with their family as well. Good, so now I've got question number 3 resolved. I know what it's going to feel like and look like when I have the outcome that I want. Good. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic cues are starting to fire. Good. Now, question number 4. What that you value might you risk or lose? What side effects may occur? There is a cost. Question number 4 is awesome because it tells you why you don't have the outcome in number 1 yet. Check this out. I don't have more strategic time because I might initially feel less important, less involved in the minutia. This is the ego question, okay? Oh, have to let go of some control. Love control. Have to stop rescuing people. Oh, love rescuing, okay? Have to invest in cultivating my directs because have you noticed your direct reports don't magically cultivate themselves? Okay, so I'm getting present to the cost, to what I will have to let go of, what I will have to invest in. Okay, how does that feel? All right, so we want to make sure that we answer question number 4 really honestly, because a lot of people say, oh, there's nothing I'm going to risk or lose. Yeah, there actually is. So dive deep, be honest with yourself. Question number 5, this one's super easy. When, where, with whom would you like it? The context, I want it at work. I want it in 45 days. I want it with my direct reports. Boom, done. Question number 6, this one's longer. What are your next steps? So what are the action steps I'm going to take? Okay, well, set up recurring strategic time in my calendar for one-on-ones, figure out what work to offload, figure out how to build leadership, figure out effective meetings and delegation processes, create a plan to get this outcome in 45 days. So the most important thing here with the outcome frame is to do it thoroughly. You don't want to be an overachiever and get it done in 5 minutes because it will stay as a fantasy. 15 is great because then you actually test drive it. And it's in, you've done some what we call myelination. You started to forge a little neural pathway. You've tested it out. And now if you actually put this in place, you're going to find that you get the results that you want. It goes from fantasy to reality. So a couple of tools We'll talk about another one in a couple minutes, but I want to do some Q&A with you and see how this is landing for you. How's this going?
Well, this is fantastic, Christine. Thank you. And what I love about it, it's very practical. So we can talk about what needs to happen, but here you're actually giving people tools, do this, and this is going to be the outcome that you're going to get out of it and the result. And so I love all of this. And I'm thinking, man, you must be so busy right now helping teams to implement this, because this is so essential right now. I love the emotion wheel because, you know, if you go back there, you know, you've got the main core emotions, but on the outside, some people don't relate to that. Am I scared? I don't know if I'm scared. I'm overwhelmed. Oh, where does overwhelmed fit into all of this? And so the larger, you know, kind of wider emotions, the more core emotions from that is fantastic. And so I noticed even for myself, like I recently on Facebook and LinkedIn had posted this Kubler-Ross curve and said, where are you at on this curve? And people said, I'm here, I'm there, you know, they're kind of like further along. They're already moved through the frustration and the fear and all that. And then some said, actually, it depends day by day, moment by moment. And so it's recognizing what this is. This is about self-awareness, recognizing where you're at, recognizing where your team is at, and how that all works together. So it's brilliant. And it actually piggybacks off of our last guest who talked about leadership and how to lead through crisis. And he talked about having this curious conviction, everyone individually bringing their curious conviction and into the conversation so that you can have a more comprehensive conversation about the possibilities, what's going on and how we can solve it and so forth. And then what this does is this dives into the specifics on how do you actually create that type of environment which will create results. So I love it. I think it's great. Now, what are you noticing, just out of curiosity? I mean, you've obviously noticed, you know, you look at the world at large. Where are you noticing most people are gravitating to, most leaders, speak in terms of leaders, where most leaders are gravitating to, and how they're, how to help them navigate. So someone listening here and they're like, I know I should be a leader. I'm supposed to have it all together, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm dealing with 3 kids running around behind me as I'm trying to, you know, now manage my teams virtually.
So first of all, I want us to bash the myth or dispel the myth that we're supposed to have it all together. You know?
Thank you. Yes.
Because we get to be human, and what's super awesome about right now, one of the many gifts of what we're experiencing right now is that we have an opportunity to really embrace our humanity and the humanity of others. And the more human we can be as leaders, like say, wow, I am really sad, stressed, angry, whatever, that I have to do these layoffs. It is like really like ripping me apart inside. And here we are. I have to do what's right for all the people involved and the company, so the company stays around, you know? So the more we can use the emotional wheel and say, here's where I am, and what would I like? Okay, let's navigate through it. So a lot of our clients are doing group outcome frames, so they can forge, and they're great for alignment, right? They can forge this group outcome that they're all marching towards. And there's something magical that happens, Nicole, when they get to step number 6, where everyone's creating the action plan together. You know, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's like, woo, you know, boom, here we go. It's very cool. So first, I think it's dropping in, being human, and saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and let's work through it together. And thank you for, you know, supporting me as I make this shift. How are you feeling? You know, if we start asking people, how are you feeling, versus, hey, how are you? Because we get a stupid response. Fine, great, good. Those are not emotions. How are you feeling? You know, I'm feeling a little tired. I'm feeling a little bit discouraged today.
Yeah, this is
Then,
great for a leader to look at and say, if somebody's feeling tired, where does that, because I even see here sleepy, right? So
yeah.
sleepy stems from tired, and tired stems from sad. So if I recognize somebody's sleepy, what do I do? Get some rest. Well, is that going to
Okay,
actually provide a
thank you.
solution? Yeah.
Okay, this is really important what you just said. Okay, let's just talk about another tool that I don't have a picture for. The meta model. Super duper easy peasy. If someone says I am sleepy, I am tired, whatever, we want to be really careful because on their map of the world, each of us has a different map of the world, okay, based on our frame of reference, how we grew up, our background, our experiences, etc. Tired to me might be different than tired to you. So if you were to say to me, wow, I'm really tired, the meta model, super easy. We just say, how specifically are you tired? Well, I'm just tired of this situation. Because we might be assuming, oh, they're tired physically, right? We don't know. We make assumptions about each other all the time. So the meta model is simply how specifically compared to what specifically, when specifically. The reason we don't say exactly is because in neuro-linguistics, there's a term complex equivalence. Complex equivalence simply means how we define a word. So for some people, the experience of, well, how exactly feels like, whoa, a test. I don't want to get it wrong. Makes sense. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, I'm seeing cues from you that that's how you experience it. Whereas how specifically is, oh, the person is curious about what it's like to be me. So, wow.
There's a lot of the right wrong conversation is so prevalent. People,
Yeah, we have
yeah,
to watch out for this,
yeah,
especially as leaders. We
yes.
can't be leading based on our map of the world. Wow, this is really hard, Christine. Oh, hard, how specifically is it hard? Hard compared to what specifically? And then I start to understand their experience, then we can co-create a solution. Otherwise, we're just advocating all over the place and they're not being heard. The outcome frame, I want to go back to that for a sec. What's awesome about the outcome frame is it helps us do two things that we must do at work every day. We must have insights, our own insights, not insights handed to us by our boss. We must have our own insights and we must have aspiration. Aspiration, we're cold, scared, lonely now, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel. So use these tools, okay? Good. So now let's look at one more thing. I want to look at one more tool with your permission, if it's okay.
Go for it.
Let's get like gnarly and deep, okay? So what's happening beneath all this stuff? What's happening at such a subterranean level that it's causing those emotions? Check this out. Wilhelm Reich did some research and found that between 0 and 3 years old, between 0 and 3, we're little bunnies. Our prefrontal cortex are the part of our brain where we make decisions, we plan strategies, we have visions, we have language, tool making, etc. That's not even fully formed until we're 21 for women, 25 years old for men. Okay, whoa. So what's interesting is between 0 and 3, from his research, we look around the world and we decide what rights we have based on our family system, based on decisions that we make. Check this out. There are several org rights, and call them org rights, you might, because if you miss a couple of letters, it's a little awkward, okay? Organismic rights, you can mess it up. So let's call them org rights. Number 1, right to exist. Do I have the right to take up space, to have a voice, to be here? Start to notice, okay, if people play small, but some people don't play small at all, but they intellectualize like crazy. They're not being present. They're not feeling. They're hanging out where it's safe in their brain. Low right to exist. Start to notice. Do we keep our head down? Do we try to avoid uncomfortable situations? That's low right to exist. Conflict avoidance, low right to exist. Get to notice yourself honestly on a scale of 0, no right at all, to 5. Take a sec, guys. Write down what your right to exist is that you're experiencing right now. Do you have a voice? Do you say your truth? Do you let yourself take up space? Do you let yourself feel? Can you be present to yourself? Can you be present to others? 0 through 5, right to exist. And we have on the infographic all the ways that you can help yourself shift and other people shift. Acknowledging, letting yourself be seen, proactively communicating, intentionally taking a role, checking in on how you feel, being here now. Good. Second right. Right to have needs. Could it be that you are feeling angry, frustrated, etc., because you didn't speak your needs, so somebody else isn't honoring them? Especially, there is a gender situation I notice here. Many women, not all, are raised to smush their needs down and take care of everybody else first. So women, I know it's a generalization, often have a lot of work to do here. I meet many men who do too, okay? So when we self-sacrifice, take one repeatedly for the team, when we actually don't know what we need, or when we know our needs but we don't ask for them to be fulfilled, okay? Or if we ask and someone says, I can't fulfill that, we don't say, thank you, that's okay, I will find my needs fulfilled somewhere else. So get present to 0 through 5, how is your right to have needs? Some people don't even know what they need, right? Start to notice, what do you need? Ask for people to fulfill your needs. Say no if you're overextended, right? Set those healthy boundaries. Good. Let's go to the third one, right to take action. Please start to notice as we go through these, not only yours, but when you get frustrated with other people on your team, what rights might they have that are lower? Share this with them. Let's all just be human and upfront about it and help each other increase our org rights. So if people don't have a hard time being accountable, hard time keeping commitments, if they procrastinate often, if they're repeatedly late on deadlines, it's uncomfortable for them. They feel at a primal level that they don't have the right to take action. So start to notice 0 through 5. How are you on the right to take action, right? Help your people get accountability partners. Make sure it's abundantly clear. Next, notice the relationship here, right to have consequences. So we take action, things don't work out. Do we start pointing fingers and telling stories and blaming, or do we say, I messed up, here's how I'm going to fix it, here's what I'm going to do in the future so I don't mess up again, will you please accept my apology? So right to have consequences is low when people use victim language, when they point fingers, when they blame others, when they avoid accountability. So notice 0 through 5, right to have consequences. Okay, good. Last one. Notice this is a combo pack, right to love and be loved. Because everyone's like, oh, I'm good at loving. Yeah, but can you let it in? So combo pack, right to love and be loved. So as we notice this one, can we be around people that have a lot of emotion, that are emoting, that are sad? It's so interesting. When my mom died, people would say to me, you get a bunch of different responses. Some people say, well, she had a great life. Like they're like not comfortable with my grieving, right? The people who were more emotionally intelligent would say, wow, God, that's hard. How are you feeling? They could hold space. So emotional intelligence, part of it, we'll go into that if we have time, is really holding space for others and letting them have whatever experience they have and not trying to smush it down because you're uncomfortable. Okay, back to maps of the world. So can we give love? Can we receive love? Can we ask for affection? Okay, can we let it in? Can we let people support us? 0 through 5, right to love and be loved. Let's talk about this for a sec. Notice, just Nicole, as you look at this, like, what's your experience of these guys? What rights might depend on each other? What rights might require each other? What rights might be prerequisites?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that. For me, it's interesting. The right to exist, I get that one. The right to have needs, the right to take action. That one was interesting because I'm like, what would prevent me from having the right to take action as a child? Because I'm thinking in my mind, what would lead to the lack of feeling like you have a right in these areas, right?
Yeah.
The right to take action, the right to have consequences. How does that
These are often
develop as a child?
for us, or
Yes.
we take action and we get scolded.
So for the right to take action, if I saw my parents and they didn't take action, then I would be less inclined to take action. I'd be more of the procrastinator, because now it's just interesting when you put it as a right. And I think that's really strong. I think that's very powerful to be able to say it is a right to, you have the right to take action when you choose
Absolutely.
to. Yeah.
And and conversely, if we took action a lot and we got scolded for it, right? We would then say, oh, action equals bad. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, the reason why is because right now I see it's kind of like you have two camps. You have the people that are like really into action. They're like, let's make this happen. Let's do things. I'm going to go help people in the neighborhood, or I'm going to recreate my business. I'm going to create a new course. I'm going to do all these things. And then there's a whole other group that's like, okay, we need to wait this out. We're told to stay home and to stay safe and to stay healthy and self-distance. So that means I can't do anything, right? So I'm not allowed. I'm at home. And so I'm going to be on Netflix. I'm going to binge on Netflix. I'm going to keep myself occupied. I'm going to have to find things to keep me busy, when I see this as like a huge opportunity to create and to collaborate and to navigate through these waters and lead through these waters. So that's why it's just really interesting. It's like, where does that stem from, the different responses?
Okay, back to the good old emotion wheel. I see a lot of people taking tons of action, a little bit frenzied,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I was just working with an executive the other day. I'm like, stop, drop in, you know, because
Yes.
a lot of
True.
that frenzied action comes from fear. And I need to fill every moment of my day so I can't feel how scared or uncomfortable. A lot of people are grieving. They're grieving the loss of their life as it used to be, because we're going to have a new normal after this.
Yes.
So what if we just let ourselves feel that a little bit, go through maneuvers of consciousness, create an outcome frame so that our action is from a place that has more emotional stability and awareness versus frenzy or denial and checking out or
Yes.
numbing out on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you said that, I was thinking maybe because some people are like, we know we're emotional, right? We know, like, we feel it. We recognize it. I feel this way. Now, for the type A personalities, oftentimes we don't necessarily feel that. It's like, I feel fine. I'm fine. Let's do this. And that is the denial, the not dropping in. So I'm very heady. I can stay up here and strategize all the time. You know what
Like
I
most
mean?
of us, it's safe up
Yeah.
here.
And it's like, I got this, I'm fine. And then, but when how it shows up for me is it'll show up as I'm sleepy or distracted in some way or whatever, or I feel antsy, like I got to do something. And that tells me that something's I'm out of alignment. I'm disconnected in some way, that I need to
Yeah.
drop back in again to say, how am I feeling right now? And to your point about the how are you feeling? It's funny because I do that in my coaching sessions. I'll start off coaching sessions and end them often with, what do you feel like saying? And what people will tell me is what they think and not what
Yeah.
they feel. They're like, oh, you want to know what has happened in the last week? I'm like, no. Before we go there, let's check in on how you're feeling. The operative word is feeling. And so, but I do it myself. I mean, that's because we're so
We all
used to
do.
being up here. So
Yeah.
it's almost like what I'm hearing is that if you feel like you can't identify an emotion or you don't identify an emotion, that might be an indication that you actually need to do this more. This is more of an importance to you because you're not connected to how you're actually feeling this moment, and could be stuffing down emotions that you haven't addressed that will come
Which will
back
come
to
out
bite you
later.
later.
They will come out later in generally inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people are going to be like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. See, we don't get a free ride here. Depending on whose research you look at, 90 to 92% of all of our decisions, of our behaviors, are keyword dominated by our emotional brain. So we may as well just realize and cop to it. We are emotional beings. So let's start to notice what drives our behavior, what is beneath it all. When we get upset, look at the org rights. When you get upset, what do you feel is not being honored? You know, I had someone just really drop the ball on an accountability to me, and I was like, she is dealing with low right tab action to take action. And I was like, wow, I really feel like my right tab needs is not being honored, you know,
Wow.
because I made it real clear that I need that.
This is so good, Christine, and so timely. Oh my goodness. How did you discover this? What's the story behind all of this brilliance?
Oh my God, it is decades. Decades and decades. I first got absolutely fascinated by the human experience when I was 13. I had this epiphany experience, whatever, where I was feeling this tremendous amount of weight. I was in bed and sleeping, and I woke up with this tremendous amount of weight on my chest, and I thought I was dying because I could barely breathe. It was like this huge weight pressing on my chest. And I just said, you know, hey, angels, God, whoever's out there, like, what is this? Am I dying? And the message I got was, this is the pain of humanity. And I said, wow, well then I need to do what I can to help reduce it, because this is really huge. And so I just went off on this quest and started studying different religions and stuff like that. And then at 15, I went to this thing that was called EST, that I think is called Landmark or something now. And then at 17, I became a Buddhist monk and did that for 7 years. And I've just been trying to understand the human experience. And I've studied all these different disciplines and all these different amazing teachers, you know, no longer with us physically, like, and some are, and taken, either curated their work, created my own work, smushed it all together, and, you know, this is what has come out of it. And I think what's really key for a lot of us is to really understand our emotions, but also to see ourselves beyond this role, this box, this temporary, fleeting, transitory identity that we have. And I did want to mention the retreat that we have coming up in October. If you go to beyondyourbrain.com, what's cool about our retreat is that it helps us start to see and understand how energy works, because everything is energy. It helps us start to experience ourselves in a new way. We bring a lot of Peruvian shamanism into it, so we understand how to build relationships with the elements, with the earth, with the water, fire, wind, stones, you know, etc., animals, plants. And as we get more connected to nature, like we all used to be, like our ancestors used to be, we experience so much more peace because we're not up here all the time. You know, being connected to the earth is also being in our body, and our body is on the earth. Our bodies aren't a vehicle to carry our brains around. Okay. They actually have more value than that. So as we start to wrap it up, questions, comments, thoughts?
Well, how does someone learn more about this and dive deeper into this so that they can master this process, so that they can use it for their own teams? This is fascinating. This has got to be one of the most fascinating interviews and conversations I've had. For just, I love diving in deep into content, and you just like dive in deep right from the get-go, and it's just right. It's my jam. So that's perfect. But I just look at it, it's like, wow, how can we learn more about this? How do we do that?
Yeah. So you can go to, again, SmartTribesInstitute.com/emotion, and you'll get our little mini course. You'll see these pictures and a bunch more. We've got, gosh, tons and tons of infographics, and we'll give you a little lesson so you can forward it off to your people. And then when you have a lunch and learn with your people, a virtual lunch and learn based on what time you actually listen to this podcast, you can go over that tool and start incorporating it into your workplace. Go to SmartTribesInstitute.com just to learn more about us and our workshops and our coaching and stuff like that. And you can learn about beyondyourbrain.com, going beyond our brain and actually reconnecting with the natural world, which is a very timely thing. It's time for us to do that, to experience more fulfillment, more peace, more groundedness, to actually start being human beings instead of human doings, which is what has caused some of this problem that
Yes.
we have right now.
Yes. Yes. And I think there's such a tremendous opportunity right now for us to recreate and to redefine. I hear families that are having experiences like where they're spending more time together than they have in a long time,
Yeah.
and really realizing. I had somebody I was talking to who said, wow, you know what? I have so much free time, and I realized how overcommitted I was. And you know what? I kind of like this schedule, and I don't want it to go back to the way it was. And so
Exactly.
it's such an incredible opportunity if we can drop in, recognize where we are, go through this process so that we can get to that outcome frame and be able to move forward. I think that's so, so critical. So yay for you sharing this content. Thank you. And this will definitely be promoting this heavily so that people can get the tools that they need to navigate through these uncertain times. And we just really appreciate you being here, Christine. And for our listeners, I would encourage you to go to, and we'll make sure all of the links are in the show notes on leadersoftransformation.com, all the infographics, all the ways that you can connect with Christine, that you can find out about her retreat. I'm pretty sure by October, when her retreat is on, y'all are going to want to be getting out of your house and going somewhere. So she's going to be creating that opportunity to get out and to get into nature and to really connect deeply. And so I encourage you to take advantage of that. And we just love to hear also your stories, your thoughts, your questions. If you have questions about this and how it applies to you and or your team, then please send us your questions, send them directly to Christine or to us through the contact page, and we'll make sure we forward them on to Christine so she can answer those. You can also, of course, find us on social media. We've got our page on Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff too, and you can find me anywhere as well, so that we can help you through this process, because there are solutions to navigate through this. If you're feeling in an uneasy place, just know that it's okay, and that there's, just acknowledge it, and there is a pathway forward. You don't have to get stuck there. There's a pathway forward. And I believe that leaders of transformation take action. They move forward. They're progressing. And Christina has given us these wonderful tools to be able to progress here. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And speaking of nature and animals, my cat is climbing all over my desk and messing with my technology. So I apologize for any of those interruptions. But anyway, we just really appreciate you being here. Christine, again, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of Leaders of Transformation real soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Nicole.